its first virtual conference in February 2022. It was dedicated to the memory of beloved Shura Weissman. It was a jewel of a conference. A recording of the conference, as well as recordings from previous conferences, can be found on the IAY website, Yiddish.world. Today's program is a showcase of the kinds of groups that the IAY wants to serve. Today, 15 groups are making brief presentations about their activities. We hope that members of the audience will find groups that fit their schedules and their interests, and they all will want to contact them. After the program, registrants will receive a PDF file with the club's contact information. And before I turn the program over to Yivo Shane Baker, I certainly want to thank him. I want to thank Yivo's Director of Public Programs and IAYC Mitpräsident, Alex Weiser. I want to thank the Yivo staff who have assisted them. Of course, on behalf of Alex and myself, I thank the members of the Board of Directors of the IAYC, and I thank members of the IAYC Program Committee, Michael Moore, Rochelle Zucker, Josef Weissman, Avi Hoffman, and Asia Azimkot. A gezind auf die Kipp.
All right, thank you, Barbara. Let's get things going right away, and first we'll go over to Israel, where it's already starting to turn late. So we'll dispense with that first, so that Eli Sharfstein can get a proper beauty rest tonight. He's a writer and performer, as well as running the Yiddish Club, and we'll let him speak for himself. Eli?
Guten Abend, Allemann. Ich bin von Israel. Eli Sharfstein, mein Name ist Eli Sharfstein. Ich will erzählen wegen unserer Zoom-Gruppe, unserer Zoom-Schmuis, was existiert schon 2,5 Jahre. Das ist sich angeheben in 2020, in dem zweiten Quarantäne in Israel. Es alle sind gesessen in Stieber und keiner nicht gekannt herausgegangen. Und ich habe probiert, reden mit Menschen durch Facebook und erklären sie es. Kann sein, wir machen eine Gruppe, was bekannt Schmuis und Yiddish, weil Menschen, sie will sich viel besser in die Stieber vermacht, in die vermachte Stieber. Und das sich angeheben von ein paar Menschen, und heute ist, das läuft schon 2,5 Jahre. Wir haben Mitglieder von Israel, von Amerika, von den Vereinigten Staaten, von Deutschland. Und wir haben einen Zoom-Plan. Wir reden zweimal am Woche. Einmal am Woche ist ein freier Zoom, ist geworden. Die letzte halbe Jahr ist passiert, wir reden, was wir will. Und einmal am Woche, Donnerstag, es ist da ein Zoom-Plan, und die Chaverim, sie greifen sich zu, und sie einmal dürfen sie lehnen oder hören, ein Buch oder eine Erzählung. Und mich schmust, oder mich schmust wegen verschiedenen Sachen. Ich kann machen ein Share. Schön?
Ja, mach das.
Okay. Will ich euch weisen, wir haben eine Webseite. Das ist unsere Webseite. Wir reden Yiddish. Durch die Webseite können wir reingehen in den Zoom-Schmuis. Ihr seht da, our regular Zoom meeting, unsere Zoom-Schmuis, das ist der Zoom-Schmuis, man drückt und man geht da rein. Und da ist da der freie Zoom. Das ist alle Montag. Und da im Mitten ist da der Zoom-Plan. Wir können sehen, wegen was wir reden. Und wir können lernen und wir können sich wir können zugreifen. Und für was ist das reut? Das habe ich, weil ich habe gebeten dem Tag. Einmal darf man bei den Tag, mache ich das reut. Da ist euch da verschiedene YouTube und Waze und verschiedene Menüen mit verschiedenen Sachen, was Menschen können lernen und hören. Und, eben der Zoom-Schmuis ist sehr interessant, stelle ich immer weg auf Facebook, auf YouTube und dann noch auf Facebook euch. Nicht allemal, aber was bei uns ist als in unser Zoom ist als ist koscher. Als ist koscher. Wir können reden, wir können nur hören, wir können viele nicht, wir können viele sein ohne Kamera euch, wir können besetzen die Menschen. Alles ist koscher, kurz von steht Themes, schnell Sachen dürfen nicht reden. Wir reden nicht wegen Politik und wir reden und wegen Religion. Soll nicht sein, der hat gesagt, der hat gesagt, das. Kurz von dem, wir können alles reden, wir können schmuisen und wir reden verschiedene Dialekten. Es ist da Pälische und Litwische und Galizianer und was noch will. Das ist alles, was ich habe erzählen.
Hashem Dank, Chavarelli. Thank you very much. As you see, his group is named Mir Reden Yiddish, and it's available there on Zoom. And if you go into Alex's previous chat message, follow-up info for today's presenters, you can find how to link up with that group where you will speak Yiddish and you will hear Yiddish. And Ellie has posted it there for you as well. So if you love Yiddish, it's good to speak it as well, not just of Yiddish. This Yiddish club, just to note for you all, is a little different from all the other Yiddish clubs. It'll probably go a little bit longer so we don't have a hard 3 o'clock out. And it's being recorded it's being live streamed on YouTube and will stay up on YouTube. So if you like to keep your face out of it, or if you like to ask a question or participate at some time, just be aware of that. And we'll go a little bit further. From Israel, let's head a little farther west to London, which is the Yiddish. And we'll hear from Mindy Lieberman about the Yiddish Open Mic Cafe. Mindy?
Dank. Schuldig mir, ich will reden meisten auf Englisch, aber ich kann anheben auf Jiddisch, will ich sagen. Schließt sich zu Liebhabers von Jiddisch über der ganzen Welt. Auf Lieder, Witzen, Meisters spielen und noch eine Sache mehr auf ein jiddischer offener Mikrofon-Café. Join lovers of Yiddish from all over for a Yiddish jamboree of songs, poems, jokes, stories, theater, games, serious and funny, all in Yiddish, but with English translation on the screen. Zet alle, als me darf nicht reden, als flüssig Mameloschen beteiligen auf unser jiddischer offener Mikrofon. We have been meeting regularly since April 2018, originally in person in London. Now you could see I'm not exactly a Brit, but we've become international because we're meeting now on Zoom sometimes and sometimes at JW3 in London. And we regularly have an audience and participants from far and wide. Whether you are a Yiddish student, teacher, scholar, someone who has just heard a word or two at home from parents or grandparents, or whether you're simply interested in Yiddish, all are welcome to be part of the audience or have a turn at the mic in front of a warm and friendly audience. Some presenters contribute their own work. Others perform songs, stories, poems, or sketches written by others, including material from well-known Yiddish writers. Participants range from people starting to learn Yiddish to those for whom Yiddish is their Mamaloshim. The 55th Yiddish Open Mic Cafe will take place on Zoom Sunday, 21st May 2023 at 11 a.m. EST, and we invite you to present or to join the audience. The theme this month is, brace yourself, Shavuos, revelation, spring, study, transgression, and text. But actually, nobody ever goes with the theme. You're free to do whatever you want. Everyone's welcome to participate. Everyone's welcome to perform on whatever theme you want. And as a matter of fact, Daniel Galai has signed up to present an original sketch called The Nudist Colony this month. We will also have a Beatles song written by Pinchas McCartney and some Gilbert and Sullivan by Yiddish. And there will be a poem in Scots Yiddish. What more could you want? Special guests over the years have included Itzik Gottesman on folklore, Natalia Krunitska from Paris, and Ruchel Schechter from the Forberts. This month's special guest is the well-known Yiddish ethnomusicologist and singer-songwriter Pavel Psoy Karolenko. If you have questions, contact us at openmic@yiddishcafe.com, and we look forward to seeing you. A schönen Dank und seid alle gesund. I did have a screen which I forgot to share, but you can catch that later, I guess.
Go ahead and put it up if you like.
All
very
right.
Quickly.
That's the wrong one, so never mind. I actually don't have a share screen. I'll
Okay.
put our address into chat. So a dank allemaal.
Very good. Dank, Mindy. And the London Yiddish Open Mic, I've been there a few times in person as well as online, and it's well worth visiting. The first time I went, I got to hear a Yiddish ukulele orchestra. So, me weiß keinmal nicht, was me sehen und hören, als me geht da rein dort. It's well worth visiting. Noch einmal a Dank, Mindy.
A dank.
We'll head even further west, all the way across the pond now to Allentown, Pennsylvania, where Janice Makowski is working on translating Billy Joel into Yiddish. Me wohnen du in Allentown. And take it away, please.
Shalom Aleichem. Ches Yosefa, Janice Makowski. Our Allentown Yiddish Club is actually quite old, but our original leaders who were native speakers have aged on or moved on mostly. So we cater to all levels of Yiddish, but we do have a lot of beginners. So we conduct our meetings in English. It's a very Hamish group, very warm and friendly people. We switched from in person to Zoom when COVID shut down the JCC in Allentown. And so most of the majority of the participants now are not Allentonians. We have a lot of St. Louis folks that we adopted, and we're international too. We have about 4 or 5 countries typically represented. It's very participatory because we're small enough to have everybody have a chance to do that if they choose to. Some people like to just be a good audience, but most people prepare a 3-minute presentation. We call it topic talk. Someone else said with their club that you have a topic, but people don't have to stick to that. They can tell a joke or they can tell sayings or whatever, but we always translate as we go for the sake of the beginners. And so that's about half of our club time. We're every Monday, unless it's a Jewish holiday, at 2:00 Eastern. So for the first 30 or 40 minutes, we do our talks. And then we always end in music, and in between we often have time for other things. I'm going to just flash you a few examples of what we do. I typically send these things in an email to everybody ahead of time. Some people like to read ahead or practice even. So we have humor, which might look like this, and everything we do is always with English translation, the oisius for those who read it, and then the transliteration for those who don't. It's Yivo with a little touch of my own of giving bold on a syllable where you might not know that it would have the accent. And so let's look at, in addition to humor, we have occasionally a little bit of Torah. Yes, Torah. And so that it's typically from the Parsha of the week. So here we looked at a few of the commandments. And again, there they are in translate. This is from Yehoash. And we have the Hebrew for those who, but we don't read it out loud in the meeting. It's just for those who are interested. And a Bissell from the Haftorah too. And it's another example of something we do sometimes. Again, for the sake of beginners mostly. Somebody's writing their little topic talk and it's on the subject of when did you move to your town that you're in now? So they have to know the word to when it's followed by a place name. So, and it's not Sue. So I made a little sheet up and I do these things with footnote. You can guess I used to be a teacher. So I have footnotes and examples and so on. And it's another thing I made for our club. And we have a Yiddish class too. This is very valuable for beginners. It's the 3 most important verbs because you can't make past tense without sein and haben. And so this shows people how to conjugate present tense and how to make past tense, imperative, how to make future, and the verb that people often get mixed up between if vel and if vil. So I threw that in. So it's really 4 verbs. Anyhow, so that's a typical thing that we do. And then we always do our music. So here's an example. This happens to be my favorite song of all Yiddish songs, my Ruhe Platz by the great poet from the sweatshop days. And I gave a little biography, a little information there about him. And I typically give how to do the transliteration or how to do the pronunciation from the translate for those who are new. And again, some footnotes might be we're big on separable prefix verbs. I hammer that all the time. Anyhow, so when we do a song like this, everybody gets a turn to read. We'll go around the room, so to speak, our virtual room, and people take turns reading. And then I play a share screen video. It's usually from YouTube. And there's so many wonderful versions. I'll find one of the great ones. And the next time we do the song 6 months or a year later, something different. But I'll typically give in the follow-up email, I send the links to what we did and also alternate versions. And in my newer song sheets, I'll have hyperlinks in the bottom too, so that people can go directly to other versions of the song. And we have a little rule in our club that if we have a tearjerker, sad or song like this, then we never end the meeting that way. So we always have to end with something that's a little more lighthearted. So here's an example of how we would then end after that with the song about that I first learned from the Theodore Bickel album, which is where I learned all my Yiddish songs from initially. Anyhow, so this is a song about boys talking about girls and then getting in trouble and getting a spanking. So what a great way to end a meeting is boys getting a spanking. Oh, sorry, boys. I didn't mean that. And there again, you see how I do the hyperlinks so people can see the various nice versions of the song. And that's typical. And we're supposed to tell a cute story about our group. We always open when a new person comes, it's what's your Jewish name? And we had a gentleman come in from St. Louis, had no Jewish name. It turned out he's not Jewish. And he learned Yiddish in the Vietnam era from a fellow officer. And so it's just wonderful to have somebody who's fluent in Yiddish and not Jewish. So whenever we have a topic that's, well, how did you spend Pesach? Then he always tells a joke instead. So that's our group. If you don't have Monday afternoons available, but you think you would enjoy these song sheets and so on, you're welcome to write to me and I'll put you on the email list even if you just want to get the fun things that we share. So thank you very much, everybody, for listening. Enjoy the rest of the program. I will.
Hartlichen Dank, Josefa. I just want to make 2 comments on your presentation. One, the boys getting a spanking. I don't know. Some boys, that is a happy ending. You have to ask around. And secondly, I don't know how you can leave off of your most important verbs list, essen, but we'll get back to that another time. All right, we're going to head north a little bit further to Toronto, pardon me for mispronouncing it, Toronto. And we'll hear from the UJA Committee for Yiddish, one of 3 separate presentations von der Jiddische Stadt Tona. And we'll start with Sharon Power from the UJA Committee for Yiddish. Hi, Sharon.
Adank, Shalom Aleichem. I will speak in English. Good afternoon. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Sharon Power. I'm a Yiddish teacher and a translator here in Toronto, Canada. I'm here to represent the UJA Committee for Yiddish, which is not precisely a club, but we do sponsor a lot of club-like activities, and we also promote and work with a lot of clubs. I've been a board member on the committee for about 12 years. Tell you a little bit about our history, just if you don't know anything about us. Our organization was founded in the late 1960s. Then as part of the Jewish Federation of Toronto, now becomes the UJA Federation of Greater Toronto. The interesting thing about the committee was the early members were all really important kulturtuers in our community, but they were from all different political stripes. So you hear stories of how these huge enemies were sitting together at one tish because they valued Yiddish and they wanted to work together, bridge their political divides, and preserve Yiddish and work together for that. So that's kind of our history. And for a number of decades, we've functioned really as an umbrella organization for all of these kinds of different groups in our region who were interested in Yiddish and worked with Yiddish. In recent years, we're more an independent organization, but we still work together with a lot of different groups to put on programs, and we support other things. A little bit about what we do on our own. First thing that we do is we run Yiddish classes. I am one of our teachers. So we have classes from beginner through advanced levels, and they're now all online since the pandemic, and we're so thrilled by the increased popularity and the increased access to our classes. So please check us out if you're interested in Yiddish classes. We also run a Yiddish theater workshop, which will probably go in person very soon, and a Lehenkreis, which Morty Weisselberg will tell you about in a moment. The next part of our activities are lectures. So we organize about half a dozen lectures a year, now as webinars, before in person, of course, and in the future, probably a mix, as with all of you. So we bring in scholars from around the world to give a lecture. Some of them are in English, some of them are in Yiddish. We also partner with a lot of different organizations. This afternoon, before our program, we had a lecture with York University in Toronto, for example. And the third arm of our activities is to support programs and support groups that we don't, explicitly organize. So we have films at the Jewish Film Festival in Toronto, Jewish Music Week, Ashkenaz. We have concerts that we support, all sorts of research projects, other little things that come up. We're open to supporting that. In terms of the language, just a little word on that. Historically, we were always only in Yiddish. But in recent years, as I'm sure many of you also know, we recognize there's a large audience interested in Yiddish who maybe don't have the full fluency to attend a high literary lecture in Yiddish, for example. So we have a mix now of our programming. Some of it's in Yiddish, some of it's in English, but we always want a strong Yiddish language component, or some Yiddish language component at least. It's because it's important to us, it's part of our mandate, not just to talk about Yiddish, but actually to talk and read and sing and learn in Yiddish. So that's an important part of our historical mandate. Basically, that's the end of my presentation of our activities. Definitely, if you want to learn more about the UJA Committee for Yiddish, please visit our website, which is committeeforyiddish.com. Not going to bother showing it. Please check it out. From there, you can contact us. You can sign up, register for our classes. You can register for upcoming lectures or programs that we have going on. We have a blog. We also have an archive of all of our past programs. So dozens of programs now on Zoom, and even before that, and some concerts and really interesting stuff in Yiddish and English. So please check it out if you'd like to review those programs. Also, lastly, if any of you are interested in helping us out with our programs, or you want to partner with us on producing an online program, as long as our Toronto community can access it, we are open to supporting it. Please reach out and contact us. We'd love to hear from you. So hartstigen Dank. That's my presentation for today.
Dank, Sharon. You mentioned the Toronto Lehenkreis, and let's hear from Morty Weisselberg on the topic of the Toronto Lehenkreis.
Guten Tag auch alle. Ich rede jetzt von Toronto, Kanada. Ich bin Mitglied von der Lehenkreis. Ich bin nicht sicher, wenn der Lehenkreis von der UJA hat sich gegründet. Ich bin ein Mitglied von 2012. Das ist schon knapp 13 Jahre. Ich will du koidem kol gedenken zwei Menschen, wo es gewesen wichtig für mir. Eines gewesen in unsere Mitglieder, wo sind du in der Zoom-Class Hand. Wenn gedenken, einer ist gewesen Ethel Cooper, wo es hat mich begrüßt das erste Mal. Der zweite sehr wichtiger Mensch, Simcha Simchowitsch, ein Schreiber, ist gewesen ein Polischer, gelebt durch eine Shoah. Nachdem ist gekommen in Toronto. Ist gewesen der Meister von der Bibliothek in einer größeren Schule in Toronto. In seiner Liebschaft für Jiddisch ist gewesen sehr, sehr groß. Gut, ich erzähle ein bisschen von unserer Gruppe jetzt. Also wie Sharon hat schon gesagt, wir sind ein Teil von der UJA Toronto Gruppe für Jiddisch. Sie geht um als ein größer Support für unsere Gruppe. Der Lehenkreis, wieso arbeitet der Lehenkreis? Wir sind zusammen einmal in Chodesh, jeden dritten Dienstag in Chodesh, 7:30 vor Nacht in Toronto, Eastern Standard Time. Es ist nicht eine Grundig-Gruppe. Sie heißt, sie sind Mitglieder in der Lehenkreis, man darf können lernen, reden und verstehen Jiddisch in einer guten Weg. Wir haben nicht keine Übersetzung. Jedes Mal, wo wir lernen eine Meise oder ein Stück von einer Meise, meistens kurze Meises von verschiedenen Schreibers, aber wir haben nicht keine Übersetzung zu Englisch, also alles mit seinem Jiddisch. Noch at the Ende von den Meises, wir wollen diskutieren ein bisschen von den Meise, was man gelernt, aber das mit seinem Jiddisch. Aber einmal ist du etliche Wörter, was man versteht nicht in Jiddisch, oder ein paar Menschen verstehen nicht in Jiddisch, das setzen wir über in Englisch, aber meistens ist es Jiddisch. Wir sind nicht eine große Gruppe. Handige Tagen haben wir 17 Mitglieder, 17 Menschen, die kommen zu der Gruppe. Unsere Gruppe ist dauern 1,5 Schuhe, einmal ein bisschen mehr, aber das geht die Menschen, alle Menschen ein bisschen Zeit zu lernen, ein Stück von der Meise, was man lernt. Handige Tagen, wir lernen meistens von der Buch, was heißt Figuren, geschrieben von Ephraim Kaganowitsch. Und wir sind wir gelernt halb die meistens von der Buch. Also es ist noch ein Gittstück, nicht mehr meistens, was wir können lernen. Was ist der Ziel von meinem Guckwinkel? Von meinem Guckwinkel, der Ziel von der Gruppe ist, zu verbessern der Jiddisch lernen von unseren Mitgliedern. Und das wird aufmachen, die Tieren, oft kennen die zwei Sachen. Eine ist, zu gehen in der originale meistens in der originale Jiddisch von der große jiddische Literatur. Die Italiener haben gemacht a Wörtel, sie sagen Traduttore, Traditore. Der Mensch, wo setzt über a Sprache in eine Sprache ist, kann nicht übersetzen der Gefühl von der Meise. Das kann man verstehen in sehen nur in der Original. Also, als man macht auf the possibility, die Möglichkeit zu lernen in Jiddisch. Meistens kann man gehen in der jiddische Bookcenter oder in Yivo und lernen in der Original in oben a sehr a größer viel für was ist der jiddische Sprache in der Meinung von der jiddische Schreibers. In der zweiten Avade ist sie verbessern der Lernigkeit von der Jiddisch. In Avade hoffen, als Jiddisch wird bleiben eine lebendige Sprache, a viele heute nicht in jedem Tag, in jedem Stieb, aber zwischen die, wo es haben lieb Jiddisch und wo es wollen, soll Jiddisch nicht sein, so wie Lateinisch, a teute Sprache, wo es nur Professoren in der Universitäten kennen sich bemühen mit dem, aber für pushete Menschen so wie in Salle. Das ist meine Präsentation. Ich wünsche euch alle einen guten Tag und einen Dank für seinen Dank.
Dank, Frank Weisselberg. I just want to make a comment for those of you who are running reading groups. I don't know how common it is, but very often the reading circles wind up being like cutting contests in jazz, you know, where you're given the text and you don't know what you'll read. It goes around a circle. And I formed a reading group here in New York that I'm quite proud of about 12 or 13 years ago, the Oib noch nicht Hecher group. And I tried to remedy some of that. I assigned everyone a page or a paragraph or an equal part for each person in the group in advance, a week in advance, with the idea that they should look up the vocabulary, look up the cultural and historical references that are made there, and be ready to explain those when their turn came to read their portion. Maybe they read the entire story, maybe they just prepare their portion, but that way you can get through the thing a little bit faster and with some preparation. If you get an assignment like that, I recommend reading it 3 times. Read through once and just underline everything that you think you need to look up, but just read it through and get all those underlinings or highlightings in. Then go back and read it and look up each item, or just look up each item and write it in. I like to do it the first way, and then read it through one more time. And you'll be able to read with some fluency then when you go through. I think that Frank Weisselberg isn't having too many problems like this. But if you like to start, you know, a reading group, that's a nice way to do it. My own recommendation. Let's stay in Toronto for one more group and hear from Belleville Schwartz. Man hört nicht, man darf öffnen das Mikrofon.
Thank you. We need to share my PowerPoint. So Alex, could you remind me how to share it?
You're just going to want to hit the share screen button, the green button on the bottom there.
Oh, that's right. Okay. Got it. Okay. Now I'm going to make that. Okay. Now, do you see it?
Yep.
Okay. So we're Friends of Yiddish in Toronto. We've been around for about 40 years. We celebrated our 40th anniversary a few years ago. We used to do everything on paper, and we've switched, of course, to emails. and that makes our treasurer happy because our costs are way down. We've also got a website, and people sign up and renew memberships with e-transfer of funds. So we're into this century. We're blessed with a very hardworking and friendly board that meets from time to time. Here you see a picture of our end of year appreciation dinner, which we pay for ourselves, of course. And at the head of the table is our wonderful president. And you see our treasurer, our accountant, our web person, a person who runs the literary program. And all of these people help out with greeting guests at the entry desk as they come in for a live event. But to be truthful, most of our events are online. But we do have a very nice gala concert coming up near the end of June. I'm standing here with Helen Smolkin, who's our president, who treats everyone in the club and especially on the board as family members. We used to have about 220 members before COVID. Now we're down to 118. But surprisingly, the participation in our online events is quite high, and we've added a lot of guests who come back again for several of our online events. We've had the same membership fee, annual membership fee of $50 for about 20 years now, and we work hard to keep our costs low. We want to have visibility at public events, so we've got a vertical vinyl banner. It tells our story: concerts, lectures, films, scholarships, conversation groups, Junta, Freilich, digital outreach, and Freundschaft. We are lucky to make use of a great venue, a social hall of a wonderful synagogue, Beth Tikva Synagogue in Midtown Toronto. And it has a capacity, it's their social hall for weddings and bar mitzvahs. It has a large capacity. And we usually used to fill it up with about 220 people for our concerts. Back in the day, there was a fundraising, and the money was deposited with the Jewish Foundation of Greater Toronto in order so that we could provide annual scholarships for people that would be able to do advanced Yiddish study and give back to the community in form of performance or teaching or leadership. The Jewish Foundation has an annual reception for major donors, and they display the mission statement of the donor group or person. In this part, they talk a little bit about how we got started 35, 40 years ago. And I was very intrigued because this is before my time. So I asked a few of the longtime members how we got started, and it was very interesting. We're the last generation who were immersed from childhood in the Yiddish culture, and we want to cultivate an appreciation of culture for future generations. We talk about it in terms of a golden chain and the links intertwined, creating a beautiful expression of our Jewish identity. And the Jewish language is a piece of that cultural link that is a chain general Yiddishkeit. We're very proud of the graduates of our scholarships. Most noteworthy is Miriam Borden, who has worked with YIVO. She's been a curator at University of Toronto Major Library. She's working on her PhD. She used to be the chair of Committee for Yiddish in Toronto. She's worked at the Ontario Jewish Archives, and currently she's president of the Ashkenaz Festival Foundation. This is a note of thanks from another recipient of our scholarship, and she's said great things about how she benefited from the YIVO Yiddish Summer Program. And now she's doing teaching Yiddish out in Victoria, BC. A funny thing happened at one of our meetings. 200 hungrige Yidden. It was an opening membership breakfast a few years ago, before the COVID. We had a full house, over 220 people, and there was music, and it was very fine. And then the servers were about to bring out the brunch. Well, we suddenly realized, like, about no bagels. The caterer informed Helen that our regular bagel bakery supplier delivery had not arrived, and we couldn't reach them for some reason. We found out later that it had been a sudden death in the family, and the bakery had just closed without notifying us. So Helen just urged the Klasmorum to keep on playing. In the meantime, her husband, Bob Smolkin, and I raced off to a different bakery on Bathurst, where there's a dozen Jewish bakeries, bagel bakeries, and hoping if we could find 400 fresh bagels without prior notice. We boldly passed along their retail lineup. There's a lot of hungry Yidden from lining up at their store. We entered their back kitchen. We blurted out our desperate emergency. Luckily, they could do it. And with great relief, we raced back to the Beth Tikva synagogue on a mission. So there was applause, and we ate, and then there was more music, and the event was quite successful. One of the ways that we keep our costs low is by co-presenting with a lot of local and remote community organizations. Beth Tzedek is a major synagogue, and they did the Leonard Cohen tribute concert, and we partner with the Jewish Book Festival, and we promote the annual Literary Prize event at York University. Some of our legacy downtown Yiddish shuls, Jewish synagogues have events, and we help to promote them. We also promote and appreciate the work of Professor Anna Sternsis at University of Toronto, and we celebrated with the whole community her production of Yiddish Glory. We participate in some major events like the UJA Toronto Community Vigil over the Pittsburgh tragedy, and we promote YIVO's online Yiddish events and programs. We promoted the performance at the Committee for Yiddish program on herring, which was presented by Miriam Gordon, and it's a sort of a parody of a doctoral thesis, and it's all about the national fish of Yiddish land. Also, I've done a presentation on behalf of Friends of Yiddish at Yiddish Winkel, which meets once a month at a Yiddish style brunch, Free Times Cafe on College Street, not far from where the original settlement of Jews in Kensington used to be. We partner with Beth Tikva Synagogue's music group, and everyone's familiar with Benjamin Schechter's fine work. We co-presented that. We co-present with the Toronto Jewish Film Festival. We co-present with and promote summer programs done by Ashkenaz Festival, because they don't have, there was a hiatus because of COVID, but they still kept on small digital events.
Velvel,
Yeah.
I just want to check, is there much more, because we have to get to some more people.
Okay,
shortly.
2 minutes.
Thank you.
This is Linka Lichtenberg. We're very proud of her being a member of our group and also performing with us. And recently she won Canada's Juno Award, which is Canada's equivalent of the Emmys. And she did it for translating her, putting to music her mother's poetry that was written in the camps in Europe. She's a survivor. She also, by the way, translated and put to music the poetry of Simcha Simkovich a number of years ago. Here she is presenting on the stage at Beth Tikva. One of our methods of increasing guests and membership is to have ballots at the door for door prizes, and this is how we gather contact information. We also follow up if anyone makes an inquiry about a program. We invite them to join our group. We want to reach out to younger families, so we've invited the Bialik Yiddish class choir to perform at one of our events, and that brought in some younger families. We we promote a literary event, and we have a fine Beyond the Pale group with Eric Stein, who's the artistic director of Ashkenaz Festival. And I do some conversation groups in partnership with Committee of Yiddish one time, and once at the JCC, and at the Yiddish Winkel downtown at the restaurant, Mickey Katz. And this afternoon at 4:30, I'm doing Jackie Mason in cooperation with another JCC called the Bernard Beitel Center. Thank you very much.
Sheinama hartlichen Dank. Some good tips there for how you can publicize your own Yiddish Winkel, by the way, if you're cribbing or taking notes, or you can go back to the YouTube video, which will stay up online. Let's stay in the Great Lakes area. Who can translate Great Lakes? Put that into chat. The first one to get it right, in honor of the 200 hungrige Yidden, you'll get von Begala Loch. All right. Or second place is Wasser auf Kasche, and third place is Kadoches in a Klein Tepela. So hurry to get your answers in while we travel down the Great Lakes to Ann Arbor, Michigan, and we'll hear from Ella Herz-Gertel about the Yiddish Tisch there. Ella Herz, we need you to open your microphone, please.
Dezelfde Katuas was machen een paar andere mensen. Git 11 euch alle, gitten Tag. Je weet me stommen von wann ich red. So wie schön hat euch nur was gesagt. An ederich hebben reden, will ich sagen ein paar Wörter. Ich heiße Ella Herz-Gertel, und ich wohne in Ann Arbor, Michigan. Und le COVID, die 3 Toronto Menschen, will ich sagen, als seltene Sache, zuvor in Kanada, was ist bloß 40 Mal von da nicht, darf man fahren durchdick über dem Grenitz. Und das ist ein bisschen ein Rettnis für euch alle, ob ihr will wissen, der Entfer, Privos ist so zu gewinnen. Okay, Yiddish ist eine Schmelzsprach, pflegt sagen der berühmte Linguist Max Weinreich, Oliver Scholem. Unsere Gruppe, der Yiddish-Tisch heißt es, ist lahavdol ein Schmelzkollektiv. Der erste Yiddish-Tisch stammt von dem Zerneufguss von zwei besonderen Gevrusses in Ann Arbor, Michigan. Eine Schmiesgruppe, eine Alleenkreis. Und mein Mäus ist öfter ein bisschen teut. Oh, okay. Sehr schön. Beide Kohortes, jede Alleenkreis, jede Schmiesgruppe, haben sich zunächst geklebt in Meschach von den Jahren in etliche verschiedene Treffpunkten. Aber im 1997 hat Rechel Juni, Ole Herr Schulem, aufgestellt ein Kreis, die Liebobers von Jiddisch. Und es hat gehabt, eine Sache andere nehmen. Ich will auch nicht machen, nimmes mit das. Nachdem, wo sie ihre Tochter, Schuschke Reisel, hat ein Kreis vorgelegt. In Unheb haben sie sich zu neu gesammelt, nachmittag, einmal in der Woche, bei Rechel in den Stieb, bei Iker zu lernen Jiddisch Literatur auf der Kohl. Teilmal pflegen die Chaverim in Chavertes von dem Dosiken Lehnkreis gehalten Sitzung einmal heute in einem Kehila-Center von Ann Arbor. Nach etlichen Jahren haben sie mehr oder weniger sich übergeklebt auf ewig in einem Kehila-Center. Nee, wegen Jiddisch Tisch, der Schmiesgruppe. Wäre Sabo die Lektoren von Jiddisch beim Universität von Michigan bis die Jahren 2001 in 2010 und dann im 2002 aufgestellt eine Schmiesgruppe, wo es schon von Samen Unheb hat man geriefen der Jiddisch Tisch. In Kemat von Samen Unheb bin ich geworden, weiß nicht wie soll, der Vermittler von dem Tisch. Und bis Jom ist das mein Posten bei dem Jiddisch Tisch. Lechatchila haben mir sich gesehen beim informellen Restauranten neben zentralen Campus jede Woche. Einmal in der Woche, noch Mittag, nur Alpirov, haben wir sich versammelt in Cafeteria von der Michigan Liga. Das ist ein Bund oder Verein von Studenten. Es ist eine lange Geschichte. In Unheb ist es bloß gewesen für die Frauen in der Universität und die Männer sind gewesen in der Student Union. Aber es ist ein bisschen mehr gleich jetzt. Männer können gehen in die Liga und Frauen können gehen auch in Union. Aber das ist eine ganze Seite gemeinsam. Es hat nicht kein Scheiß, wegen was ich rede jetzt. Nachdem, was ich habe sich pensioniert von dem Posten wie Kurator von Judaiker beim Universität, haben wir sich übergeklebt zum Kehila Center auf den Verlag von dem breiten Eulen, unhebendig in heute Februar 2019. In derselben Zeit hat man zu neu gegossen die zwei besondere Beiteichen wie ein Teich. Unter der Rubrik Jiddisch Tisch. Und zum ersten Mal in 17 Jahren haben wir sich mehr nicht zu neu geklebt auf den universitätischen Campus. Die zu neu geschmolzene Gruppe ist zerteilt auf zwei. 45 Minuten für Konversation heißt es und 45 Minuten für Lernen. Als das pandemische Gas, wie soll ich rief es, ist geschehen, haben wir sich getroffen zum letzten Mal, Punim el Punim, dem 11. März 2020. Nee, Friedel Leiden, eine langjährige Mitgliederin von beiden früher dicke Zibers, und ich muss sagen, als gemacht, alle unsere Mitglieder sind gewähnt Mitglieder von beiden Zweigen, die Schmiesgruppe, die Lehnkreis. nachgehend Bakusches von Schuschke Reisel und von der Redaktorsche von Washington Jewish News an einer Arbeitszeitung. Sie hat gespielt eine mamusche Rolle, das heißt Friedel Leden, in überzeugen mich in Ausforschen, wie soll zu oben virtuelle zu neu treffen. Und von Juni 2020 und begegnen wir beim virtuellen Tisch durch Zoom. Das ist der Sof von meiner Rede. Und ihr wollt mir da griechen, ich meine es mit obener Regime nach dem Zusammentreffen durch Zoom, wo sie euch erzählen, wie ihr könnt uns gefunden. Wir haben gehabt ein bisschen Zeit, Mitglieder, wenn wir sich übergeklebt Zoom von London in England, von Seattle in Berkeley, California, aber zumindest jetzt sind wir alle in der Mizrach-Seite von Zuffen-Mizrach-Seite oder ein bisschen in Mittelmeer in Amerika. Okay, schönen Dank euch alle für mich. Lassen mich reden ein bisschen wegen unserer Gruppe. Seid gesinnt.
Shkayach Aleher. Now, even though it's turning to summer, we're going to head south to Florida. And let's hear from Steve Lasky with the Weissman Center Yiddish Club.
Shalom Aleichem Tzualis. I'm going to give my presentation in English. I'm going to share a screen. Oh, I guess from the beginning. Okay, here we go. Our Yiddish Club meets at the Weissman Delray Community Center every Friday morning from 10 to 11:30 a.m., except for the Fridays when I show a Yiddish film, when we meet from 10 a.m. to noon. We meet at the center year-round, except during the summer months, when many of our members go back up north, and attendance tends to be too low for us to make holding a meeting worthwhile. The club was begun about 10 years ago by our former fearless leader, Brooklyn-born Paul Ozeroff, who sadly decided to move to New Jersey a few years ago. There's a nice interview with him at the Yiddish Book Center website if you're interested. The Weissman Center is located in Delray Beach, Florida, which is in the sunny southeast part of Florida. We are supported well by the staff there, and our weekly club meeting is an important part of the programming. They're always kind enough to print out whatever pages we need for our club meetings, and they provide the technical assistance and rooms for us to meet in. Unfortunately, the center only allows someone, such as a potential club member, to visit the center only once without having to pay a yearly fee joining the center. So if someone visits our club meeting once and decides they want to attend further club meetings, they have to join.
Okay,
I'm sorry.
go ahead.
For the past few years, our Yiddish club has been led by three people: Rose Feinberg, who is with us today, Susan Gans, and myself. Generally, we take turns as coordinators, so each of us lead the group once, sometimes twice a month. You can see Rose there on the right side. Rose leads the group in Yiddish words and conversation. She often hands out sheets containing Yiddish words with their English translations, and she encouraged us all to use one or more of the Yiddish words in forming sentences in Yiddish and saying them aloud to the group. Both Rose and Susan never force anyone to speak Yiddish if they don't want to, but they will often encourage them to try. The ability of most members of our group to speak or understand Yiddish varies. So at any one meeting, we may have a small number of fluent Yiddish speakers and many others who have some knowledge of Yiddish, who may be able to speak a little Yiddish or understand some. And also there are others who really don't know or feel comfortable speaking Yiddish at all, but they feel a need to hear Yiddish being spoken. We allow English to be spoken when necessary. It is their choice. Often we take turns simply saying something in Yiddish that's based on a certain topic. For example, tell us about your family, or what did you do this past winter? During the meetings that Susan leads, she often hands out pages containing Yiddish songs and poems, and she too encourages everyone to sing the songs or recite the poems in unison. She also encourages the group to schmooze in Yiddish. I myself show a Yiddish film with English subtitles once a month. Our former leader, Paul Azaroff, was kind enough to give me approximately 24 of the Yiddish films that he owned, so I have a plethora of films to show. Generally about 10 to 20 club meetings attend each film showing. I have the center printout synopses of the film that I write out beforehand, and I hand out these to those who attend the film showings. We often talk about the film briefly before and after the film. For the meetings that Rose and Susan lead, we meet in a large room, all of us seated in a circle. We pass around the microphone from one person to the next, and we each say what we wish to say. The room in which I show Yiddish films is much smaller, which most often seats all the film goers who wish to attend. The room has a wall-mounted screen and a projector that is built into the ceiling. Those who attend Rose's and Susan's meetings number generally, I'd say, from during off-season, about a dozen to about 40 during the fall, winter, spring season. About 10 to 20 people attend the films I show. I would say that most of our Yiddish club members are in their 70s, 80s, and even in their 90s. As children, many of them lived in households where Yiddish were spoken regularly. They may or may not have learned enough Yiddish to speak well or even understand the language, but they all have what seems to be a strong affinity for the language. Some were brought up in Europe and elsewhere, although most were raised in American households. At least 2 of our members are Holocaust survivors. At present, we have no online presence, so if someone wishes to participate in that group, they simply have to physically be there. We have created an email list of our membership, and when either Rose or I have something to say to the group on non-meeting days, we send out an email to them. For example, I announce what film is to be shown the next week or the next week. Rose sends out emails with a calendar of upcoming Yiddish club meetings and who is leading each meeting for the next 10 weeks. Occasionally, Rose or I send out emails containing links to Yiddish programs of interest. We're fortunate to have so many lovely club members who speak Yiddish proudly, no matter their proficiency. They are very fond and appreciative of not only the Yiddish language, but also of their parents who spoke it, and of being Jewish in general. I expect that our club will exist for many years to come, assuming that we find new members along the way. If you have any questions, I'm almost finished.
Can I add?
Yes.
No, I was just going to add something, but finish up.
Okay. If you have any questions about our club, you can reach me at stephenlasky@gmail.com. By the way, I'm also on the board of the IAYC. Lastly, as many of you know, I am the founder and director of 2 online museums, the Museum of Family History and the Museum of the Yiddish Theater, and I have Facebook groups for each, as well as those that are entitled Yiddish Music, Yiddish Films, and World of the Yiddish Writer, just to name a few. You're all welcome to join. Of course, if you have any questions about my own work, you can contact me privately. Thanks for allowing me to talk about our wonderful Weissman Center Yiddish Club. Everyone keep up the good work. Rose, do you have anything you want to add?
Ja, Phil Nozuganas to do mention was coming from Canada. Und wenn sie gehen weg, hat man nicht so viel Menschen. But at the height, we had 34 people who Menschen wurden gekommen, 34. Und wenn ich mir redt wegen Mischproche, mir redt wegen Essen, that's what I wanted to say. Und Werte wegen Menschen, like Dreikop, and wie soll man wegen Menschen. So, and I'm going to say in English that it makes a difference that there are 3 of us. And we can rotate this, and if someone can't come, we adjust the schedule. And I want to thank the Houston Yiddish Binkel. I know they're going to speak, for sharing what they have, because sometimes I'm on their list, and if I see something, and they always encourage us all to share, I will forward it to the group, like a YouTube song or things like that. So the sharing is very important. Sehr wichtig. Yeah, thank you.
Great. Thank you both. Let's stay in Florida a little bit longer for Love, Marsha, Love. Hey, Marsha, Love, Virtual Yiddish Club. Take it away.
I'm so excited to be here with you and listening to each and every one of you. I want to collaborate and I want to join. I want to partner with you. And it's just, you're all wonderful. It's my pleasure and my honor to be the host, though, of the Yiddish Book Club, which we run every Wednesday for an hour and a half. And the people that are reading are Yiddish scholars. They are hard workers. They prepare each lesson. They look up words in the Yiddish dictionary. And I record each lesson, which is kept in a playlist on YouTube. And the recordings are a helpmate to anyone who has to miss a lesson. But they are also good for anyone who wants to improve their Yiddish. Listening is a good teacher. The primary reason for the Yiddish Book Club is to read the books that the Yiddish Book Center in Amherst has digitalized with the help of Steven Spielberg. The books are PDF files and they're read in Yiddish and translated into English. We've read one complete book, Zalman Schneur's The Mamzer, and that's on YouTube. If anyone wants to listen and learn from it, it's wonderful. And we're halfway through Von der Welt, was ist nicht mehr, by I.J. Singer. And I believe that Zoom is a gift. I only can do things virtually, and it's wonderful to go all over the world with people. Since COVID invaded our lives, I started running the Yiddish Book Club as well as other programs that interest me. I'm a person with several talents, but I also appreciate other people's talents. And I'm looking for Yiddish talent that I would be delighted to host a webinar or a Zoom meeting to showcase and promote Yiddishkeit. You are welcome to contact me. My name is Masha Love, and my contact information is mashalove@mashalove.com. And I hope to hear from you. Sei gesund.
Dank, hast gesehen hinter ihr dem Yad? Wie sagt man Yad auf Yiddish? Weil auf Yiddish is a Yad a bocher.
No,
So let's find out.
fine. It's
Maybe I have a bocher on the yacht.
No. It's strange, but it's a picture of Norwich, Connecticut, their harbor. And they're not known really for boating or anything, but that's my
It's not your yacht.
my hometown, Norwich, Connecticut.
So was ist da gegangen with the yacht? All right. Let's stay in Florida for one more group, and we'll hear from Avi Hoffman with the Why I Love Yiddish group.
Entschuldigt mir, I'm in New York now. Part of the year in New York, part of the year in Florida.
Shalom Aleichem. My name is Avi Hoffman. I am the founder and CEO of the Yiddishkeit Initiative, also known as Why I Love Jewish. I want to congratulate the International Association of Yiddish Clubs for their important work and welcome you to this wonderful event. And soll sein Yasher Koyach mit Mazel, Broche und Hatzloche. If you'd like to know more about the work of Why I Love Jewish, please visit our website at whyilovejewish.org. And you will find all the wonderful events and programs that we have done in the past and continue to do. Over 200 programs on our YouTube channel and wonderful events worldwide the rest of the year.
Böse Winden nicht gegossen, reichen brechen und sie bloßen. Starke noch wie wilde Flammen, als im Scheun brennt.
Zu sein oder nicht zu sein. Da liegt der Hund begraben. Wer sagt es, es ist ein Teinung, auszustehen das Kalts und Warms von dem Paskut im Geurl, sie sich entgegenstellen dem Berg mit Zorres und nehmen soll es Sof. Zum ganzen Schabbesgeudel und Meuchel glicken mit dem ganzigsten Kabudel. Now, you may recognize that better in Shakespeare's original language, to be or not to be. That is the question.
So sei mit Mazel, and I hope to see you at future events. Seid gesund und stark.
We heard a piece of advice here in chat or read it from Shoshka Reisel Uni, who's done so much to help all of us be able to type in Yiddish, in addition to encouraging certain Yiddish clubs. Go back and look at that, please, encouraging you to take courses to supplement your Yiddish studies and work. And now, another very important person in the world of online Yiddish. I can't tell you how many times a day I use his resources. Raphael Finkel with Yiddish Batzoimt in Lexington, Kentucky. Raphael?
Guten Morgen alle, Gott helf, gute Nacht. Was es soll nicht sein, bei mir ist allemal morgen. Guten Morgen alle. Yiddish Batzoimt. Unbezäumt, unbridled Yiddish, weil das ist doch Lexington, Kentucky, und wir haben als unbezäumt da. Wir haben nur was gepravet Derby, nicht da in Lexington, noch nicht weit von Lexington. Und dafür heißt unser Gruppkele Yiddish Unbezäumt. Die Geschichte ist, ich habe jahrelang gehalten eine Jiddisch-Klasse in der Universität von Kentucky. Und etliche von den Studenten haben gewollt, Mamschach sein, ein bisschen weitergehen mit Jiddisch. Haben wir sich getroffen bei mir im Büro an der Universität. Jetzt bin ich in Pension, wir haben durchgemacht eine Epidemie und jetzt ist alles auf Zoom. Etliche von den früheren Studenten kommen nach durch Zoom und andere sind euch angekommen. Sie haben eingeladen andere. Wir haben nicht keine große Gruppe. Wir haben 7, 8 Mitglieder. Und was wir tun, ist, wir lernen Texten auf Jiddisch. Einmal diskutieren wir den Inhalt. Wir setzen nicht über. Die, was haben Fragen wegen Wörter, fragen die Fragen auf Englisch gewöhnlich. Und wir lassen wissen, was soll sein der Beteit von die Wörter, von die Phrases, was man sagt, ob sie sind nicht bekannt für alle. Aber gewöhnlich halten wir, als der, was hat gelernt gut genug und alle können das verstehen und sehen. Und man fragt, ob man darf fragen. Jeder einer hat eine Reihe. Wenn wir lernen, ich prüfe machen sicher, als alle sollen haben, eine Gelegenheit zu lernen durch eine Session. Unsere Sessions kommen vor einmal eine Woche. Jetzt ist das Freitag ganze Säger durch Zoom, aber wir arbeiten die Zeit, wenn wir dürfen, weil etliche von unseren Mitgliedern sind doch Professoren, Professorges, und sie haben Klassen, sie können nicht allemal bleiben bei einer Zeit durch ein ganzes Jahr. Was noch will ich sagen? Wassermadrege. Die Mitglieder kennen alle gut Jiddisch. Sie können lernen Jiddisch. Nicht alle sind fließig in Lernen Jiddisch, aber alle können verstehen das Raufen, was sie lernen. Wir haben euch Mitglieder, was sind sehr bekannt mit Ivri, und das hilft oft. Und andere, was sind sehr bekannt mit Russisch, und das hilft euch. Ich allein bin nicht koscher auf Ivri, kein Russisch kenne ich nicht. Was haben wir gelernt? Wir haben gelernt, eine Sache von die Chalemer Meises, angesammelt von Menachem Kipnis. Wir haben gelernt etliche von die Kindermeises, von Leon Elba, von die kleinen Kinderswegen. Wir haben gelernt, eine Sache von Besheves, von die Meises von hinteren Euven und von dem Tatens Beisdenstub. Wir haben nicht gelernt, die alle von die beiden Kollektionen, aber wir haben gelernt, eine Sache von sie. Nicht lang zurück haben wir gelernt, zwei Meisterlich von Rochel Broches, eine Sammlung der Erzählungen. Wir haben gelernt, Lieder von Kaja Molodowski. Und jetzt halten wir in Anheb von dritten Akt von Anskis Der Dibuk. Der was will geht ein Eizer. Was sollen wir lernen, das kommende Mal? Und es ist nicht keine bestimmte Serie von was wir sollen lernen. Wir lernen das, was kommt zur Hand und das, was wir können finden, der von Copies. Ob ihr seid interessiert in dem, kann man sehen in dem PDF, was man wird rumstecken und wir wird sehen mein Blitzadress. Wir können kommen, halten sich in Kontakt mit mir und ob es passt gut, will ich einladen. Will ich laden ein. Einladen. Ich will verbessern meine eigene Grammatik. Nu, seid ihr alle mehr gesund.
Dank, Rafael, und Dank für dein ganzer Mühe und Arbeit. Thank you so much for all the work you do. I hope the contact will include, or Rafael, you can put it up, your website, which has so many resources for people studying Yiddish, including Shoshka Rezel's Yiddish keyboard, and just, it's wild how much you can find there. It's an oitzer. And I'm also going to put up in a minute, you mentioned Rochel Broches, I'm going to put up a link to a story of hers read by Alona Bach with English or Yiddish subtitles available for it. Continuing further in the perhaps unexpected worlds of Yiddish clubs. Let's go to, oh no, this is expected, Houston Street. This club is on Houston Street. Oh no, sorry, Houston, Texas. The Houston Yiddish Winkel, Mina Grauer, Barbara Goldstein, and Beverly Sufjan. Take it away.
Okay, so we were letting Beverly go first because she has to leave very soon.
Well, you can do it. I think I'm okay. Go.
Oh, okay, so I'm gonna, okay, if that's all right, I'll give a little history.
You do your whole thing.
Okay, von Houston Tiffenharzen, Texas. Shalom Aleichem, teure Freund. Ich will dir erzählen auf Englisch eine Geschichte wegen dem Winkel. In 1970, a young couple, Jaime and Susan Gantz, came to Houston. It wasn't long before Susan met Frida Weiner, a veteran member of the Arbiter Ring, and who, for more than a half century, promoted Yiddish language and Yiddish culture. Under Frida's tutelage, Susan became a proficient speaker, reader, and writer of Yiddish. In the years that followed, Susan assisted Frida, and eventually, as Frida had hoped, Susan assumed the reins of the Houston Yiddish Winkel. In the 1970s, an oil-based economy drove Houston's growth. People poured in, many Jewish immigrants from South Africa, Mexico, South America, Canada, Israel, as well as Jewish U.S. citizens from other U.S. states, started their own businesses or went into practice or took up positions in Houston's famous medical center. Yiddish-speaking Soviet Oilim came in the 80s. The Houston Winkel flourished. Susan led monthly meetings and weekly Yiddish classes. In the 90s, the Houston Winkel expanded its horizons. It became a member of the International Association of Yiddish Clubs, the IAYC. It also expanded its influence. Susan, Julia Mazow, Henrietta Bell, and Beverly Suffian, the Gang of Four, as they were called, approached the Director of Arts and Culture, Marilyn Hasid, at the JCC. Marilyn agreed to support Yiddish programming, and the JCC became a vibrant venue for Yiddish events. In 2014, Susan and Jaime moved to Delray Beach, Florida to be near their children and grandchildren, but not before Susan lovingly turned over the operations of the Houston Yiddish Winkel to capable, lovely Mina Grau,
Dank, Barbara. Sholem Aleichem alle. Ich bin Mina Grau und ich bin ein relative neue Mitglied von der Houston Yiddish Winkel. Nur 10 oder 11 Jahre. Also, als der Houston Yiddish Winkel trifft sich jeder Dienstag in der Früh, 10:30 Seige bis 12 Seige, und sind die Magefe mit all unsere Versammlungen auf Zoom. Die Versammlungen sind ausgeführt auf beide Jiddisch und Englisch. Ich bin der Aufseher von der Leinmaterial, aber ich bin nur ein Teil von einer größeren Gruppe von Mitarbeitern. Morris Wolftal schickt uns jede Woche ein Lied, das mir leint und mir ehrt. Michael Moore greift sie eine scheine PowerPoint und euch eine wöchentliche Neuesblätter, was ist am Mechaie zu leinen. Beverly Sufjan schickt heraus Informationen wegen jüdischer Lektions und Klassen über die Welt und Barbara Goldstein organisiert unsere speziellen Programme. Jede Woche schicke heraus Leinmaterial zu allen Mitgliedern. Gelächter in der Seite, mir leint nicht Albert Einstein Theorie von Relativität, mir leinen meistens Artikeln oder Sichroines. Und das ist, was mir leint jetzt, Stille Leben, geschrieben bei Miriam Raskin. Das Material ist mit auf Jiddisch und man setzt es über auf Englisch. Und das Ziel von das Leinen und die Lied ist nicht nur ein Weg zu lernen, sich die jiddische Sprache, nur euch eine Plattform zu führen, eine Diskussion wegen allerlei Aspekten von jiddischer Kultur, Geschichte und Traditions. Und euch, die Mitglieder, sprechen wegen allerlei Themen, wo sie wollen sie sprechen. Auch aus den wochenlichen Versammlungen der Houston Yiddish Winkel pravet 2 spezielle Programme jedes Jahr. Jede Pesach wir feiern ein dritter Seder, in welche meleint unser spezielle Agode. Und in den Bildern, die können sehen, die Menschen, die nehmen sich zu neu zu leinen und fahren dem Magefe, hat sich getroffen in Person. Okay. Eintiges Jahr Eliyahu Anovi hat uns gekommen zu besuchen. Und darum Sholem Aleichem Jahrzeit, mir folgt noch sein Zevue und mir zeichnet sein Leben mit Leinen eine von seinen komischen Meises. Beide Programme mir liked auf YouTube, also als andere Menschen soll sie euch kennensehen. Und jetzt wird Beverly erzählen wegen ihrer allerlei Mekoirin für jiddische Programme, wo sie schickt unsere Gruppe jede Woche.
Okay, can you hear me? Hello?
Yes, we hear you.
Sorry. My name is Beverly Suppy and I'm a member of the Houston Yiddish Winkel. I love to search the web, so my role with the Winkel is to serve as a disseminator of events and programs of interest for Winkel members. I search the web and send out this information to our members. I have a list of about 150 emails, many who do not attend our class, but tell me they still want to receive the information. Also, members sent me information that they come across, and I also send that out. This information is also found in our weekly newsletter under Beverly's Corner. I feel that I am sending information which is enriching our members' lives. We hope you will join our Tuesday Zoom class. Just go on our website, yiddishwinkelhouston.org. And I'm proud to say that we have Raphael and Morty Weisenberg in our class. Thank you so much.
Shana, my heartlichen Dank euch. And now let's head over to San Francisco and hear about Fischl's Yiddish group? Who could this Fischl be, I wonder? Asia?
Shalom Aleichem allemen, sehr gut allemen zu sehen. Mein Name ist Asia Eisenkot. Ich führe FIG, was ist Raschei Teves für Fischls Jiddisch Gruppe. Fischl, was hat schon etwas gemacht, das Simen, aber Fischl macht wieder eben, du kannst das Simen mit der Hand oder öfter wir können machen Pin, maybe you can pin Fischl too. Ich will sollen alle dir sehen, Fischl. Fischl ist Philipp Kuttner und ist unser Gründer, was hat angehoben dem Kreis mit der Sachjahren zurück in Kalifornien. Ot Fischl, wir sehen dir jetzt darauf auf dem Ekran.
Shalom Aleichem allemen. Dank.
Dank, Fischer, für Beweisung. Gut, ist unsere Gruppe, FIG, ist eine internationale Zoom-Jiddisch-Schmues-Gruppe. Wir treffen sich jetzt wieder Dienstag, 2 Säger bei Tag, Leut New York Zeit. Das Programm besteht von Präsentationen von Jiddisch-Reders von herum die Welt. Unsere Mitglieder, was machen Präsentationen, kurze und lange, was seien euch von der ganzen Welt und schmuesen in die ganze Gruppe zusammen oder in kleine Zimmerlach, Breakout Rooms. Wir merken ob die Jontevim, wir hören Lieder und Poemes. Mitglieder helfen für das Programm. Hanne Berman von Toronto ist ein Freund, eine Neitzegeberin und wie ein gewesener Jiddischlehrer, sie stellt zu eine Sache wunderbare Materialien für unsere Programme. Suelen Siboni von Toronto euch, sie führt dem Klal Schmues in unserer Gruppe jetzt wieder 2 Wochen. Moti Kama führt Motels Winkel, wo gibt uns einen Überblick wegen jedem Jontef. Mariv Zahavi hilft mit Technologie. Und eine Sache andere, was helfen. Und als wir verbringen 2 Shows a Woche mit unserer beliebten Sprache Yiddish. Debbie Herman, can you pin Debbie, please? Debbie Herman ist unsere Künstlerin und Webmeister. Sie hat geschaffen unser prächtige Webseite, wo, ob ihr wird reingucken, wird ihr kriegen einen Tam von unseren Treffungen. Derweil sage ich euch, seid gesund und Debbie wird euch erzählen und erklären, wie wir können reinschreiben sich in unsere Gruppe und wie wir können gucken auf unsere früheren Programme, wo sie rekordiert. Ist Debbie, wird euch bald beweisen, ihr äußergewöhnliche Arbeit. Debbie, your word. Microphone, Debbie, microphone.
First of all, I want to thank everyone. I want to especially thank Alex and Barbara who stepped in for IAYC and whose idea it was, and for the many people around the world who are each having an aspect of Yiddish that is part of the slice of Yiddish life. I know nothing about Yiddish. And so I would suggest that if any group is looking for someone to support them in any way, feel free to reach out to someone that you know may have an interest in an aspect you would like. And that's what my father did, Fischl. And so I've been along on this journey for decades with him. So he is the writer of Der Bay. And so I want to share my screen with you before I go into this. Okay, so, right. Okay, So this is Derbe. You can also, which we're associated with, but you can also get into Join Fig this way. And then I will go over to our website, which is here. And this gives you an idea of what we do. So these are our meeting times. And then I do the photo restoration and video editing for in advance of the meetings, and then after the meetings, and then prepare the website for it. So I know that there is a place for everyone in the Yiddish world, whether they know not a word of Yiddish or, and I think that the mission of IAYC and for each one of your groups is to share Yiddish and further Yiddish. And so in the preparation of all of this art, I research each one of these presenters in order to create the art. And by that way, I am learning, I'm learning more about Yiddish. Okay, so this is, and I will show you an example of one. So, and I want to thank everyone here and in other groups who have been so generous with their time and talents and abilities, especially Rafael, Shishka Reza, Marsha Lev, Steve Lasky. So you can see they're all different topics. It's pretty much Yiddish, almost 100% Yiddish immersion, language. It's all done in Yiddish. Occasionally there will be a rare speaker who may present in English. However, someone who doesn't know a word of Yiddish can still do the video editing. And you may wonder how that's done. And so don't be afraid to ask someone and bring someone on board in your local community. And I do it by the fingerprint, like the shape of the sound waves. So I would like to show you an example of, this is a presentation. So I'll just go through this quickly. Okay, and this shows you how to, just how to get into one of the videos. Okay, and then lastly, I would like to show you on the FIG website where to go to join. So here, this is another place you can join FIG. Okay. And I want to thank all of those dedicated people everywhere. I'm done. Stop share.
Thank you so much. And again, feel free to pop your specific information into the chat. But if you look at the link that Alex and Julia have been putting up there, you'll find links to all of the Yiddish clubs who are presenting today. We just have a couple of groups left. Stick with us because these are worthwhile. We'll have a presentation now from the Katzizna reading group. And if you don't know why it's named Katzizna, you need to find out. So let's hear from Murray Bat.
Good morgen, good elf, good avond. Ich heet Melech Bat. Ich bin Mitglied von dem Internationalen Verband von Jiddisch Cluben. Ich bitte euch zu betrachten, als wird sich interessieren, hereinzutreten in unserem Lehnkreisel. Beerdig jede 2 Wochen oder 2-mal jeden Heute lehnen wir etliche Seiten von Arthur Kaczynskis reinrappendickem Roman Starke und Schwache. We read the book downloaded from the 1954 Buenos Aires version by the Yiddish Book Center in the original Yiddish in which it was written in the 1920s. We try to decipher and determine the meanings in 21st century English. We have all come to Yiddish from different backgrounds, but we agree that understanding this book gives us a window on the cosmopolitan Yiddish arts community that existed in Warsaw 100 years ago. We do this on Zoom, roughly alternate Monday evenings, twice a month, for about an hour, starting at 6 p.m. Pacific or 9 p.m. Eastern Time. If you think you may be interested in participating with us, please introduce yourself to me, the organizer, and we can together try to determine if our reading group is a right fit for you and your interest in Yiddish literature. Please go to the IAYC website to get the particulars of our organization. Adank.
Adank. Thank you, Murray, even virtually. And Achron Choviv of Shulam Londoner from Los Angeles with the Leon Cries. Shulam, take it away.
Nu, zou je me sagt auf Yiddish zum Letzten, zum Bestens. Ich heiße Shulam Londoner, oder so wie meine Tata hat mir gepflegt zu liefern, Shulam Action. Und früher habe zu beschreiben in unserer Gruppe, will ich machen ein paar Bemerkungen. Unsere Gruppe hat nicht eine spezielle Nummer, aber wollte uns gezwungen zu haben eine Nummer, wollte ich ausgeklippen von einer Sonnenregime. Die linke Liebe für Jiddisch, nicht dahin, nicht daher, ob nicht nach Heche, Teimel Ärger, Jiddisch und Rachmanis und mein beliebster Jiddischer Baldschuvenix. Das heißt, Emerson, was ich kennt Jiddisch einmal und es ist zurückgekommen noch eine Sache Jahren und man aufdeckt, der Pintel Jiddisch ist offen. Nun, unsere Gruppe existiert schon knapp 30 Jahre. Man hat sich gepflegt zu treffen, mal bis Jahr 217, 218. Dann ist gewesen auf Soccer von FC 2-3 Jahre. Und dann nachdem hat man sich ungeheuer solche Sachgruppen sich zu treffen auf Zoom. Und seit März 2020 trifft man sich wöchentlich, jeder Sonntag 3 Tage Nachmittag, bei 2 Schulen, mehr wenig, zu lernen Jiddisch. Und man hat nicht gehabt, auf solche Chutzpah-Prüfen, die jüdischen Methoden sind die Zeit. Unsere Gruppe besteht von einer Sachverschiedenheit. Wir haben Doktoren, Professoren, jüdische Lehrer, Pushati, sage ich. Die Gruppe, die Zahl von unserer Gruppe ist öfter 17 lebendige Beschäftigte. Das heißt 11 Menschen und 6 Katzen. Und die Katzen verbringen die Zeit von der Lehrkeit, sitzen auf der Klaviatur, also die Mitglieder kennen nicht nutzen die Klaviatur. Nur was tut man auf eine typische Session von unserer Gruppe? Wir lernen Jiddisch und man geht durch die Werte, was man versteht nicht, und man vertieft sich in die Werte. Man will verstehen genau, was der Schreiber hat im Sinne. Und auch hat man das Sache von verschiedenen idiomatischen Wörter, Phrasen. Man will verstehen genau, wie soll das verstehen, weil man kann nicht das Sache mal übersetzen gleichweg auf Englisch. Und auch hat man probiert zu verstehen den historischen Kontext, wohin die jüdische Schreiber geschrieben die dortige Meise. Was lernt man? Man hat gelernt von Stuttgart, Singer, Koganowski, der Tunkler, und jetzt mit Halt bei Endig in Bella Chagall. Bekitzer, der Technolog für das 21. Jahrhundert wird uns gegeben der Gelegenheit zu kommen zusammen durch das Internet und lernen Lernmaterial, was früher man gedacht haben als Buch in der Hand, als Text, können wir jetzt kriegen durch das Internet, durch das Biercenter. Die die Ksavim, wo stammen von dem 20. Jahrhundert, können wir jetzt tun durch die Technologie. Und ich meine, die Technologie hat gegeben die Möglichkeit zu all die Gruppen, die sind durchhand, zu verspreiten sich und zu halten sich noch ein speziell beschassene Umgebung, wenn man hat sich nicht gekannt treffen, Punem mal Punem. Und das ist der größte Näs von die Zeit von der Megeva. Die Megeva ist gewesen tragisch, aber euch es hat gegeben die Möglichkeit für Menschen zu treffen, sich jetzt von überall in der ganzen Welt, wo es wird nicht gewesen möglich früher. Dank.
Hartlichen Dank, Shulam, und hartlichen Dank alle, was haben sich beteiligt haben. Thank you for coming in and giving your presentations on your individual clubs. Wie man sagt, a Welt mit Weltlach, a world with little worlds, and each club has a unique character and a unique approach, and we appreciate everybody's approach to help spread the word of Yiddish and keep Yiddish out there and going. We hope that you'll cross-pollinate some, visit other Yiddish clubs, and of course here at the YIVO, there are many, many resources available for you. I'm happy to give you some through my own group, the Congress for Jewish Culture, including videos. I posted a few up there where you can hear as well as read translations of Yiddish stories and even full-length plays. And lassen wir sich treffen auf Simchas, yeah? So Alex has put up the various ways to follow YIVO, and maybe they put up, we don't need it again, do we? The Yiddish Club List version 3. I hope everyone copied it down.
I'll put that in the chat one
open
last
on their
time.
computers.
And I will also say, if you miss this link, or if you have trouble, copying and pasting from Zoom, this link is also on YIVO's sign up page for this event. And if you have trouble finding it, you can just email one of us and we'll send it to you. So follow-up information for everyone we heard from today is on that PDF. So you didn't need to scramble to take notes, but also you can rewatch this program on YouTube. And as Shane said, I really encourage you, stay in touch with YIVO, stay in touch with the International Association of Yiddish Clubs, stay in touch with each other. It's really just very heartening to see the wonderful diversity of things that people are doing to celebrate Yiddish around the world. So thank you all so much for sharing with us.